Math Module 4, Lesson 18. I can relate decimal and fraction multiplication. Make sure everything I do in the video, you do in your workbook. If you need to pause to catch up, do it. If you need to rewind and rewatch, anything to be successful. Good luck. Problem number 1. 3 and 2/10 times 2 and 1/10. Well, another way I can say both of those is 32/10 and 21/10. Because they both end in the tenths place. And since it's a base 10 system, I know that 30/10 make 3 wholes. So 30/10 plus 2/10 is 32/10. And 20/10 make 2 wholes. So 20 plus 1/10 is 21/10. So let's make these fractions, please. So 32/10. Place value goes on the bottom in my denominator, 21/10. So let's multiply. So I'm going to show my work. So I have 32, and I have to put my place value, tenths, times 21, place value again, tenths. All right, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3. Done. Starting in the next place value, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. So now I'm going to add 2 plus 0 is 2, 3 plus 4 is 7, 6 plus nothing is 6. But now what's tenths times tenths? Well, 10 times 10 would be hundredths. So it's 672 hundredths. Well, let's add our decimal place. So I got to go below. So I'm going to write 672. This 2 has to end in the hundredths place. So I know that's 2 places to the right of the decimal. So 672 hundredths, which is also equal to 6 and 72 hundredths. Make sure you showed all your work. Problem number 4, we have 31 hundredths times 1 and 4/10. So let's write these as fractions. So 31, the 1 is in the hundredths place, so I put 100 in the denominator, times 1 and 4/10. So I could also read that as 14/10. So 14, the 4 is in the tenths. So let's multiply. So I have 31, and I am going to write hundredths because that's what place value it was in. And then times 14, and the 4 was in the tenths. Multiply. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry a 1, bring it down. 0 for my placeholder. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. And now I add. 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 1 is 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. So I know my numerator is 434. Well, hundredths times tenths is 1,000ths because 1 times 1 is 1. And there's 3 zeros. So 434 thousandths. Make sure we have that THS at the end. So now, when I'm writing it down below as a decimal, I know that the last 4 needs to be in the thousandths place. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 4, 3, 4, put a 0 in the ones. So I know my answer of 434 thousandths as a fraction is 0 and 434 thousandths as a decimal. Make sure you showed your work. 4 and 2/10 times 12 hundredths. Well, I'm going to write them as decimals. So I know the 2 is in the tenths. I know the second Factors 2 is in the hundredths. So 42 tenths, so 42. 12 hundredths, 12. So now I'm going to multiply. So I have 42, the 2 is in the tenths, times 12, and the 2 in that number is in the hundredths, THS. Let's multiply. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, 0. 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 4 is 4. Add them. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 2 is 10. Write the 0, carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. So I know my numerator is going to be 504. Well, tenths times hundredths. Tenths times hundredths, I know is going to be thousandths. So I'm going to write thousandths as my place value. THS. Awesome. So now let's write this as a decimal. So I know my last digit needs to go in the thousandths. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So the 4, the 0, and the 5. And then a 0 is going to go in my ones place. So let's rewrite this as a decimal. 0 and 504 thousandths. Make sure you showed all your work.